The Madaraka Express, a high-profile undertaking that aims to bring prosperity to southern Kenya and to two cities in particular. Time to board the Mombasa Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, or SGR, Kenya's most expensive infrastructure project.
The distance between Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and the port city, Mombasa, is just under 500 kilometers. And 2 years ago, in 2017, this journey that we're on would have taken up to 10 hours. In fact, some passengers on the train say that up to 24 hours have been spent trying to bridge that gap between these two cities.
For us who do business, you're able to make it to town, either aid very fast, and business goes on very fast.
Phase 2 is bound to happen, which means that the standard gauge railway will be running across the country of Kenya and eventually leading up to our regional partners Uganda and eventually South Sudan, opening up the region to trade and movement of persons.
The route will also boost freight transport. For example, dealers usually have their new and used cars brought from Mombasa by truck. It's hoped that the new rail option will help lower prices for car buyers.
It will make it a lot more secure to move the cars here, a lot quicker. My turnaround time would improve a lot. Then also I don't have to spend money on fuel and driver bringing the cars here. So I estimate that it will be cheaper for me.
The railway was built by Chinese contractors and financed largely by Chinese loans. That poses a debt burden.
Putting all this together hasn't come cheap. $3.8 billion Kenya has had to fork out in order to get this done. And the tricky thing is 90% of that funding came from the China Exim-bank.
The foreign investors celebrate the results in glossy promotional videos. The Chinese provided both financing and technology. They'll operate the railway for the first 5 years.
Do you think it was worth it?
Okay, in terms of the finance, basically, in terms of comparison what others have spent, like Ethiopia and Tanzania, it's quite expensive. But, I mean, what can we do? We don't get included in those decisions. So we just have to enjoy the ride.
The question is, in 10 or 15 years, will those people alive think that this was a worthwhile investment?
The Madaraka Express is currently running at a loss, but the investment is already paying off for Chinese importers. Beijing is now Kenya's biggest trading partner. On the ground, most Kenyans are pleased. They welcome the investment in the country's ailing and largely outdated infrastructure. This dealer now gets his new cars via train from Mombasa.
People who say the SGR was a bad investment are against development. This train helps ordinary Kenyans. Rich and poor benefit from it.
But it's also hitting motorists in their wallet. Gas prices have gone up to help pay off the Chinese debt.